Good day everyone. So before we start our presentation, I would like to introduce myself first.
Xin chào, tôi là Julian Mendoza, sung Taybel Magarao, Camarines Sur.
We are the Group 10 and our topic is the educational system of Philippines versus Vietnam. First, the structure of the educational system. In the Philippines, a 13 years education is mandatory by the law. These 13 years run from kindergarten up to grade 12, also known as the K-12 program. The K-12 has 3 levels: primary, junior high school, and senior high school. The student have the option of whether to pursue higher education or not. While the education in Vietnam is a state-run system of public and private education run by the Ministry of Education and Training. The Vietnamese Ministry of Education and Training is the government agency responsible for managing and overseeing the nation's education system. It is divided into 5 levels: preschool, primary school, secondary school, high school, and higher education. Formal education consists of 12 years of basic education. This basic education consists of 5 years of primary education, 4 years of secondary education, and 3 years of high school education. Next is the mandatory years of schooling. Education in the Philippines is compulsory at the basic education level, composed of kindergarten, elementary school grades 1 to 6, junior high school grades 7 to 10, and senior high school grade 11 to 12. The educational system is managed by 3 government agencies by levels of education. First, the DepEd, the Department of Education for Basic Education. Second, the CHED, the Commission on Higher Education. And last, the TESDA, Technical Education and Skills Development Authority. In Vietnam, preschool for children aged 3 to 5 years, this is the equivalent of kindergarten or nursery school. It's not compulsory, but many parents enroll their children to prepare them for formal schooling. Primary school for children aged 6 to 11 years, these levels covering grades 1 to 5. The curriculum focuses on basic subjects such as Vietnamese language, mathematics, science, and moral education. Lower secondary school for students aged 12 to 15 years covering grades 6 to 9. This is also compulsory and builds on the primary education curriculum, introducing more specialized subject. Upper secondary school for students aged 16 to 18 years covering grades 10 to 12. This level is not compulsory, and students often face national exam to determine their eligibility for higher education or vocational training. Last is higher education. This includes universities, colleges, and vocational training institute. Students must pass a highly competitive national exam, the National High School Graduation Examination, to gain entry to universities. Second is the presence of alternative learning system. The Philippines Primary Alternative Learning System, or ALS, is a non-formal learning program designed for out-of-school youth and adults who have not completed basic education. Republic Act 9155 established the ALS, and Republic Act 11510 further institutionalized and strengthened the program. The purpose of alternative learning system is to address the needs for basic education for those who cannot or have not completed formal schooling. ALS offers individuals a second chance at education, helping them develop literacy and life skills, improve their quality of life, and increase their readiness for work. In Vietnam, the alternative learning system provides non-formal education to adults and out-of-school children, offering literacy and skills development program. It complements the formal education system by providing accessible learning opportunities through various programs and materials. The government has recognized NFE as a key strategy to achieve education for all, particularly for ethnic minorities, women, and adults in rural areas. This non-formal education in Vietnam serves similar purposes like in the Philippines, providing education to those who are outside the formal school system. They provide flexible learning options for adults who did not complete basic education, offer literacy programs, secondary education, equivalency, and life skills. Next is the curriculum and pedagogy, emphasis on STEM, language, or vocational education. In the Philippines, the science, technology, engineering, and mathematics education is a significant focus, especially in senior high schools through the STEM strand. The STEM is a major academic strand under the K-12 curriculum designed for senior high school students. Next is the primary languages of instruction are Filipino and English, as mandated by the 1987 Constitution. And for vocational education, we have the TESTA and TVET. The Technological Education and Skills Development Authority is responsible for vocational education. And for TVET, the Technical and Vocational Education and Training is a significant aspect of the Philippines education system. In Vietnam, the STEM education is primarily found in extracurricular activities with limited systematic integration into the formal curriculum. The Vietnam is actively promoting STEM education to support national development, economic modernization, and global competitiveness. Next, the main language spoken in Vietnam is Vietnamese. It is the medium of instruction in schools and universities across the country. And for vocational education, the Ministry of Labor, Invalids and Social Affairs oversees the TVET, Technical and Vocational Education and Training System. It focuses on equipping students with practical skills for direct entry into the workforce. Next is the integration of local history and culture. In the Philippines, local history is taught under Araling Panlipunan or Social Studies. Elementary levels includes lessons on local community, culture, and heroes. High school includes Philippine history, including regional contributions to national development. DepEd encourages schools to include local heritage and festival in lessons. Some schools collaborate with local governments and culture groups to enhance content. Other subjects that supports local history integration ay ang Edukasyon sa Pagpapakatao o ESP. It teaches values through local stories and community traditions. In Vietnam, the integration of local history into the school curriculum is primarily achieved through the history and geography subjects. Local history is the part of the subject called history and geography in elementary and history in secondary school. Curriculum includes national history, but provinces are encouraged to supplement lessons with local events, historical figures, and traditions. Local museums and revolutionary sites are often used for educational field trips. This approach is part of the broader educational reforms aimed at fostering national pride and a deeper understanding of regional heritage. Next is the use of technology. In the Philippines, blended learning or modular distance learning were implemented during the pandemic. It's online or printed modules. DepEd Commons and online platforms offering free learning materials. Use of learning management system or LMS like Google Classroom and Moodle in some public and most private schools. Last is TESDA offers online technical vocational courses via the TESDA online program or TOP. In Vietnam, strong government push for digital transformation in education, use of e-learning platforms and TV-based lessons, especially during schools closures, integration of ICT, information and communication technology as a subject starting in primary school, higher investments in smart classrooms, and EdTech partnership, especially in urban areas.
Xin chào, tôi là Maika Espirillo, Batong Song U, Santa Cruz, Kipayo, Calabanga, Camarines Sur. Funding and resources. Government expenditure on education as a percentage of GDP in Philippines versus Vietnam. In Philippines, the total percentage of GDP is 3.6% in 2023. In Vietnam, the total percentage of GDP is 3.92% in 2023. In 2023, the government expenditure on education in the Philippines was reported at 3.6% of its gross domestic product. This figure represents the proportion of the country's total economic output that the government allocates to education, covering all levels from primary to tertiary education. Vietnam's expenditure on education as a percentage of GDP was reported at approximately 4.11% in 2020, with more recent data indicating that it remains around 3.92% in 2023. This suggests that Vietnam invests a higher percentage of its GDP in education compared to the Philippines. Quality of school facilities and teaching materials. In Philippines is the lack of resources and infrastructure in many schools, especially in rural areas. 104,536 out of 327,851 school buildings in country are in good condition. 100,072 school buildings need a minor repairs and 89,442 need a major repairs, and 21,272 are set for condemnation. In Vietnam has made significant strides in improving school facilities and providing access to teaching materials. They have availability, centralized textbooks, project-based learning. For school facilities, they have national programs, basic standards, ICT infrastructure, and also supermarkets. Student ratios and teacher qualification. In Philippines, teacher-student ratio. In the recent data of Department of Education, the teacher-student ratio in the Philippines average around, in primary, 35 students in one teacher. In senior high school, 40 students in one teacher. And special education, they have 15 students in one teacher. In alternative learning program, or ALS, they have 25 students and one teacher. And in technical vocational school, 20 students and one teacher. Teacher qualification in Philippines. Republic Act No. 4670, Article 2, Recruitment and Career, Section 3, Recruitment and Qualifications. For teacher in the kindergarten and elementary grades, bachelor's degree in elementary education or BEd. For teachers of the secondary schools, bachelor's degree in education or its equivalent with a major and a minor, or a bachelor's degree in arts or sciences with at least 18 professional units in education. For teachers of secondary vocational and 2 years technical courses, bachelor's degree in the field of specialization with at least 18 professional units in education. For teachers of courses on the college level other than vocational, master's degree with a specific area of specialization. In Vietnam, teacher-student ratio. The pupil-to-teacher ratio varies by education level. In primary education, the ratio was 23 pupils per teacher in the 2023-2024 school year. For upper secondary education, the ratio was 20 pupils per teacher in the same period. Vietnam teacher qualification. To become a teacher in Vietnam, individuals must meet specific requirements: bachelor's degree, A fourth-year bachelor's degree is the minimum educational recruitment for teaching English in Vietnam. TEFL, or Teaching English as a Foreign Language, TESOL, or Teaching English to Speakers of Other Languages, certificate are generally required. Criminal background check, also valid passport and visa. Next is access and inclusivity, policies on free education. In Philippines, they have Republic Act 9155, Governance of Basic Education Act of 2011. Ang Republic Act 9155 ay hindi direktang nagbibigay ng libreng edukasyon sa lahat ng antas. Ngunit nagtatag ito ng pundasyon para sa mas mahusay na pamamahala ng sistema ng edukasyon sa bansa. Pangunahing layunin nito ang pagpapabuti ng kalidad at aksibilidad ng edukasyon sa pamamagitan ng paglilipat ng kapangyarihan, pagpapalakas ng pakikipag-ugnayan sa komunidad, at pagpapahusay ng kalidad sa edukasyon. Ang RA 9155 ay naglatag ng estruktura para sa mas mahusay na paghahatid ng edukasyon na nagsisilbing daan para sa pagpapatupad ng mga polisiya na naglalayong gawin mas accessible at mas mataas ang kalidad ng edukasyon para sa lahat, kabilang na ang libreng edukasyon sa elementarya at high school. At ang Republic Act 10931 o ang Universal Access to Quality Tertiary Education Act of 2017. Ito naman ay direktang tumutugon sa pagbibigay ng libreng edukasyon sa antas ng kolehiyo. Pangunahing layunin nito ang libreng matrikula, tertiary education subsidy, pagpapalakas ng UNIFAST. Ang RA 9155 at RA 10931 ay dalawang mahalagang batas na naglalayong mapabuti ang sistema ng edukasyon sa Pilipinas. Pareho silang may malaking ambag sa pagkamit ng layunin ng bansa na magkaroon ng isang mataas na kalidad at accessible na sistema ng edukasyon para sa lahat. In Vietnam education system present a complex picture regarding free education while legally mandate the reality in nouns and faces significant challenge. Legal framework and proposed expansion. The 2019 Law on Education stipulates free tuition for 5-year-olds in public preschool, primary, and secondary students in public schools. A draft resolution proposed extending this to all levels of public general education, preschool to upper secondary, starting in 2025-2026, requiring an additional R&D 8.2 trillion $316 million in state funding. Ang sistema ng edukasyon sa Vietnam ay may komplikadong sitwasyon pagdating sa libreng edukasyon. Bagamat may legal na mandato, ang realidad ay may mga pagkakaiba at nahaharap sa malaking hamon. Ang batas sa edukasyon ng 2019 ay nagsasaad ng libreng matrikula para sa mga 5 taong gulang sa pampublikong preschool, primarya at sekundarya sa mga pampublikong paaralan. Ang ibig sabihin nito, sa kasalukuyan, ang mga magulang ay hindi na kailangan magbayad para sa tuition fee ng kanilang mga anak sa mga pampublikong paaralan mula preschool hanggang high school. Ngunit, ang iminumungkahing pagpapalawak ay magpapalawak pa nito na ginagawang libre ang edukasyon sa lahat ng antas sa pampublikong sistema. Enrollment and dropout rates. Enrollment and dropout rates in Philippines. There are more than 28.4 million students enrolled nationwide, 44,931 public school and 12,162 in private school. Dropout rates between 2007 and 2013. Dropout rate for elementary students increased from 5.99% to 6.81%, while the secondary level dropout rate rose from 7.45% to 7.82% during the same period. Enrollment and dropout rates in Vietnam. University enrollment, Vietnam has over 2 million university students, equivalent to 201 students per 10,000 inhabitants. Net enrollment ratio. The year for universities is 27.9%. Primary education. The gross enrollment rate in primary education is 108%. In secondary education, the gross enrollment rate in lower secondary is 99% with a 100% student transition rate to secondary school. In tertiary education, the gross enrollment rate in tertiary education, including universities, was reported at 42.22% in 2022, according to the World Bank. Literacy rate. The adult literacy rate in Vietnam is around 96.6%. Access for marginalized groups. In Philippines, alternative learning system, opportunities for marginalized Filipinos. This initiative responded to concerning trends in the Philippines, such as the decline in literacy rates among 15 to 24-year-olds from 96.6% per in 1990 to 95.1% in 2000, and further to 94.8% in 2008. Additionally, data from November 1994 showed that 3.8 million or 14.1% of children and youth aged 7 to 24 were out of school. In Vietnam, NGOs o non-governmental organization and government ministry of agency or the Ministry of Education and Training, MOET, international organization and community-based organization o CBOs.
Good morning everyone. Toila Chaitim Kuisha M. Borja 2 Antipolo Tinambak Camarines Sur. Assessment and accreditation. When we say assessment and accreditation, ito ay proseso ng pagsusuri at pagbibigay ng sertipikasyon sa isang institusyon kung pasado ito sa mga pamantayan ng kalidad. First, sa Philippines, National Achievement Test o tinatawag na NAT. Isa ito ang pagsusulit na ibinibigay sa mga piling antas ng mag-aaral, halimbawa, Grade 6, Grade 10 at Grade 12. Isang pagsusulit na isinasagawa ng DepEd upang sukatin ang kalaman ng mga mag-aaral sa mga pangunahing asignatura tulad ng Pilipino, English, Math, Science at Araling Panlipunan. Pangalawa, ang National Career Assessment Examination o tinatawag naman na INCAI. Isang pagsusulit na tumutulong sa mga mag-aaral karaniwang nasa Grade 9 o Grade 10 na matukoy kung aling career path ang nababagay sa kanila batay sa kanilang interes at kakayahan. Pangatlo, Philippine Educational Placement Test. Isang pagsusulit para sa mga gustong makabalik sa formal na edukasyon o ma-skip ang ilang baitang batay sa kaalaman. Ginagamit ito ng mga out-of-school youth at iba pang hindi nakapagtapos ng formal na pag-aaral. Ngayon naman, dumako tayo sa Vietnam. Ang National High School Examination or NSHE kung tawagin, isang pagsusulit na ginagamit bilang batayan sa pagtatapos ng high school at pagpasok sa universidad. Sinusukat nito ang kaalaman ng mga mag-aaral sa asignaturang tulad ng Math, Literature at Science. Kailangan ng mas mataas na marka para makapasok sa mga top universities, lalo na sa kursong tulad ng Medicine at Engineering. Sumunod naman, Quality Assurance in Higher Education. Ito naman ay sistema para masiguro na ang edukasyon sa kolehiyo o sa universidad ay may mataas na kalidad at patuloy na pinapabuti. Una, ang Philippines. Sa public school, narito ang tinatawag na Association of Christian School, College and Universities Accrediting Agency. Tumutulong sa Christian schools, mga paaralang may kaugnayan sa pananampalatayang Kristiyano, upang mapanatili ang kalidad ng kanilang edukasyon. Isa rin itong voluntary accrediting body, ibig sabihin, hindi sapilitan pero mahalaga para sa reputasyon ng paaralan. Pangalawa, ang Philippine Association of College and Universities Commission on Accreditation. Ginagamit ng maraming private colleges and universities. Layunin nitong i-assess at i-improve ang kalidad ng edukasyon sa mga pribadong paaralan. Kapag naka-accredit ang isang programa, ibig sabihin ay pasado ito sa itinakdang pamantayan. Panghuli, ang Philippine Accrediting Association of Schools, Colleges, and Universities, isa sa mga pinakamatanda at kilalang accrediting bodies sa Pilipinas. Karaniwang ginagamit ng mga Catholic at private non-sectarian school. Tinutukoy nila kung ang isang programa tulad ng engineering, education, nursing ay tumutupad sa mataas na pamantayan ng edukasyon. Sa private schools naman, para sa mga pribadong institusyon, ito naman ang mga pangunahing ahensya nito. Ang Accrediting Agency of Chartered Colleges and Universities in the Philippines. Ito ay pangunahing ginagamit ng mga state universities and colleges o pampublikong kolehiyo o universidad. Sila ang nag-a-accredit ng mga programa upang matiyak na mataas ang kalidad sa mga pampublikong institusyon. Pangalawa, ang Association of Local Colleges and Universities Commission on Accreditation. Ito naman ay para sa mga local colleges and universities na pinapatakbo ng lokal na pamahalaan o LGU. Tinutulungan nila ang LCU na magkaroon ng kalidad na edukasyon sa antas ng kolehiyo. Ngayon naman, dumako tayo sa Vietnam. Narito ang tinatawag na Ministry of Education and Training. Ito ang national government body na nangangasiwa sa buong education system ng Vietnam, mula basic education hanggang higher education. Hindi katulad ng Pilipinas na maraming accrediting bodies, isang centralized system ang ginagamit ng Vietnam. Sila ang gumagawa ng policies, standard at evaluation para matiyak na ang mga universidad ay sumusunod sa kanilang pamantayan. Next is international benchmarking. Ibig sabihin nito, paghahambing ng mga pamantayan, sistema o resulta ng isang institusyon sa mga kilala o nangungunang institusyon sa ibang bansa. First, in the Philippines, in mathematics, the main topic of PISA 2022, 15 years old and scored 355 points compared to an average of 472 points in OECD or Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development countries. On average, 15 years old scored 347 points in reading compared to an average of 476 points in OECD countries. In Philippines, the average performance in science of 15 years old is 356 points compared to an average of 485 points in OECD countries. In Vietnam, in mathematics, the main topic of PISA 2022, 15 years old in score of 469 points compared to an average of 472 points in OECD countries. On average, 15 years old score 462 points in reading compared to an average of 476 points in OECD countries. In Vietnam, the average performance in science of 15 years old is 472 points compared to an average of 485 points in OECD countries. Kaya naman, ang Pilipinas ay malayo pa sa global standards sa mathematics, reading, at science. Ang Vietnam ay mas malapit sa international average at itinuturing na isa sa mga top-performing countries sa Southeast Asia pagdating sa basic education. Ang datos na ito ay ginamit bilang batayan sa reforma ng edukasyon upang malaman kung ano ang aspeto ang kailangang pagtuunan ng pansin. Next, the global competitiveness. In the Philippines ranked 53 among the 133 economies featured in the Global Innovation Index 2024. The Global Innovation Index ranks world economies according to their innovation capabilities. In Vietnam, ranked 44 among the 133 economies featured in the Global Innovation Index 2024. The Global Innovation Index ranked world economies according to their innovation capabilities. Kaya naman, mas mataas ang ranggo ng Vietnam kaysa sa Pilipinas. Sa Global Innovation Index, ibig sabihin, mas mataas ang itinuturing na kakayahan ng Vietnam sa pagbabago kumpara sa Pilipinas batay sa mga pamantayan ng Global Innovation Index. Ang pagkakaiba sa ranggo ay nagpapahiwatig na mayroong puwang para sa pagpapabuti sa kakayahan ng Pilipinas sa pagbabago. Next, the contribution to international academic research. In the Philippines has implemented several policy frameworks to advance academic research and higher education. The Commission on Higher Education, or CHED, introduced the Higher Education Landscape 2030, aiming to produce globally competitive graduates and promote equitable access to a quality education. Additionally, CHED CMO 15-2019 outlines strategies to enhance research productivity in higher education institutions. The Program on Higher Education, Research and Policy Reform, or HERP, further supports this by building an evidence-based policy analysis and fostering collaborative network among researchers. In Vietnam promotes international academic research through strategic policies like the Higher Education Reform Agenda and the Science and Technology Development Strategy 2021 up to 2030. These initiatives support global collaboration, research funding, and increased publication in international journals. Next, the partnership with international institution. Ibig sabihin nito, pakikipagtulungan ng isang paaralan o universidad sa mga institusyon sa ibang bansa para sa palitan ng kaalaman, pag-aaral o guro. First, in the Philippines, the European Union, EU Erasmus Program. Ang Erasmus ay isang EU-funded program na tumutok sa education, training, youth at sport. Layunin nitong bigyan ng pagkakataon ang mga estudyante, guro at iba pang mga professional na exchange opportunities sa buong Europe at sa iba pang mga partner countries. Paano ito nakikinabang ang Pilipinas? Nagbibigay ito ng scholarship at training opportunities para sa mga Pilipinong estudyante at professional. Pinapalakas nito ang international cooperation at nagpapalawak ng networking opportunities para sa mga higher education institutions sa Pilipinas. Pangalawa naman, ang USAID STRIDE program. Ang STRIDE Science, Technology, Research and Innovation for Development program ay isang USAID-funded initiative na tumutok sa pagpapabuti ng research capacity at pagpapalakas ng innovation sa Pilipinas. Paano rin ba ito nakikinabang ang Pilipinas? Bibigay ito ng funding at technical support sa mga Philippine universities upang mapabuti ang kanilang scientific research at matulungan ang bansa sa economic development sa pamamagitan ng innovation. Pangatlo, ang UK-Philippines TNE Link Program. Ang TNE, Transnational Education Link Program, ay isang proyekto na nagtutulungan ang mga universidad ng United Kingdom at Pilipinas upang mapalawak ang akses ng mga Pilipinong estudyante sa mga UK-based academic programs at research collaboration. Bibigay ito ng mga pagkakataon para sa mga estudyante na makapag-aral sa mga UK institution at nakikinabang ang mga Pilipino universidad sa mga academic partnership at shared expertise. Pang-apat, ang AUN o SEED-NET, Asian University Network, Southeast Asia Engineering Education Development Network. Ito ay isang ASEAN-based network na layuning palakasin ang engineering education at research collaboration sa mga bansa sa Southeast Asia. Ang Pilipinas ay nakakakuha ng akses sa mga collaborative research project, workshop at mga pagkakataon para sa mga engineering student upang makipag-partner sa mga universidad sa ASEAN region at maging bahagi ng mga global research initiatives. Ngayon naman, sa Vietnam, una na rito ang Fulbright University Vietnam. Ang Fulbright University Vietnam ay isang American accredited university sa Vietnam na may misyon na magbigay ng high-quality education at magsagawa ng mga global research collaboration. Paano ito nakikinabang ang Vietnam? Nagbibigay ito ng mga pagkakataon para sa mga Vietnamese student at faculty na magkaroon ng exposure sa American education system at mga international research collaboration. Pangalawa, ang DAAD or German Academic Exchange Service Partnership. Ang DAAD ay isang German government-supported organization na nagsusulong ng international academic exchange at mga research collaboration sa pagitan ng Germany at iba pang mga bansa. Nagbibigay ang DAAD ng mga scholarship, research funding at exchange at academic exchange program sa mga Vietnamese student at faculty upang magkaroon sila ng training at collaborative research sa mga universidad sa Germany at iba pang bahagi ng Europe. Pangatlo, ang Asian ROK o Cooperation on Higher Education and Research. Ang Asian ROK Cooperation ay isang inisyatibo ng mga bansa sa ASEAN at ang Republic of Korea o ROK upang palakasin ang higher education at research collaboration sa pamamagitan ng mga academic exchanges at mga joint research project. Ibibigay ito ng mga pagkakataon para sa mga Vietnamese institution na makipag-collaborate sa mga South Korean universities at mga research center at mag-benefit mula sa mga funding opportunities at shared expertise. Pilipinas ang may mga partnership sa mga European, American at ASEAN institution kung saan ibibigay ito ng pagkakataon sa mga Pilipinong estudyante at universidad na lumahok sa mga international program at collaborative research. Sa Vietnam naman ay nakikipagtulungan sa mga global institution kabilang ang Germany, United States at South Korea upang mapabuti ang kalidad ng edukasyon at scientific research sa bansa. Ang parehong mga bansa ay nagsusulong ng international collaboration na makikinabang ang kanilang higher education institution at magiging mahalaga sa global knowledge sharing.
Best practices. In Philippines, they have Alternative Learning System, Education Skills and Training or ALS-EST. The ALS program offers a flexible non-formal education pathway for out-of-school youth and adults. It integrates academic learning with skill training, preparing students for employment. Next is Special Education or SPED program. The SPED program in the Philippines aims to provide inclusive and quality education for children with disabilities. Best practices include individualized education programs tailored to each student's unique needs and learning styles. Continuous professional development for teachers. Ongoing professional development is crucial for effective technology integration and the successful implementation of student-centered learning. In Vietnam, they have student-centered learning. A shift towards student-centered learning is a significant improvement in Vietnamese education. This approach prioritizes active learning, moving away from traditional lecture-based methods. Instead, teachers act as facilitators, guiding students through exploration and discovery. Technology integration. Vietnam is increasingly integrating technology into its classrooms. Interactive whiteboards, online learning platforms, and educational software enhance teaching and learning. Technology allows for personalized learning experiences, immediately feedback, and collaborative projects. Next is Indigenous Peoples Education, or IPED program. The IPED program focuses on culturally relevant and rights-based education for indigenous peoples. Best practices include using the IP's mother tongue in education, instruction, and incorporating their traditional knowledge and cultural practices into the curriculum.
Recommendation: first, in the Philippines, enhance teacher training and support. Kailangan bigyan ng pansin ang mas mataas na kalidad ng pagsasanay para sa mga guro. Dito, kabilang ang patuloy na professional development, modernong paraan ng pagtuturo at sapat na suporta tulad ng resources at mentoring upang matulungan silang makasabay sa pagbabago ng panahon at pangangailangan ng mga mag-aaral. Pangalawa, integrate technology and education. Dito naman, mahalaga ang paggamit ng teknolohiya sa pagtuturo upang mapabuti ang kalidad ng edukasyon, kasama dito ang paggamit ng mga computers, tablet, internet at digital learning platforms upang gawing mas epektibo, interaktibo at accessible ang pagkatuto. Sa pangatlo naman, improve access to quality education. Dapat tiyaking lahat ng mga mag-aaral, saan man sila naroroon, lalo na sa mga liblib na lugar, ay may pantay-pantay na pagkakataong makapasok sa paaralan at makatanggap ng kalidad na edukasyon. Kabilang dito ang pagpapatayo ng mas maraming paaralan, pagbibigay ng libreng edukasyon at suporta sa mga mahihirap na pamilya. Ngayon naman, dumako tayo sa Vietnam. Una, strengthen quality assurance system in higher education. Dito naman, kailangang palakasin ang mga sistema na nagsisiguro sa kalidad ng edukasyon sa kolehiyo at universidad. Ito ay nangangahulugan ng mas mahigpit na pamantayan, regular na pagsusuri ng mga programa at pagsunod sa international standards upang masigurong handa sa trabaho ang mga nagtapos. Pangalawa, promote equity in rural and remote areas. Dapat pantayin ang oportunidad sa edukasyon para sa mga kabataang nasa kanayunan at malalayong lugar. Kabilang dito ang pagdadala ng mas maraming guro, pasilidad at serbisyong pang-edukasyon sa mga lugar na hindi madaling mapuntahan. Sa panghuli, support digital transformation and education. Tinutukoy nito ang paggamit ng mga makabagong teknolohiya sa kabuuang sistema ng edukasyon, mula sa pamamahala ng paaralan, pagtuturo hanggang sa pagsusuri ng performance ng mga estudyante. Layunin nito ang mas mabilis, mas transparent at mas epektibong edukasyon gamit ang digital tools.